Welcome back, everyone. Today is going to be intense. I'm usually the guy out there breaking limits physically, screaming at the top of my lungs to push past the next barrier. But today we're doing something a little different. We're sitting down, we're talking, and my guest today, he knows a thing or two about being the underdog, about carrying the weight of an entire village, literally on his back. He's gone from being the outcast everyone ignored to the leader everyone looks up to.
That's quite the introduction. Honestly, I'm just happy to be sitting down for a minute. Usually when I'm meeting someone with your kind of energy, I'm preparing to dodge an energy blast or a tailed beast bomb. It's nice to just talk, though I have to admit your energy feels different. It's pure. It's itching for a fight, isn't it?
You can tell? Yeah, I can't help it. It's in my blood, but that's actually where I want to start. You and I, we've both spent our lives chasing strength, but I feel like we run on different fuel. For me, it's the thrill. It's seeing a wall and smashing through it just to see what's on the other side. But listening to your story, it feels heavier. You didn't get strong just because it was fun, did you?
Not even close. For me, strength was a necessity for survival. Not just physical survival, but social survival. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and everyone goes silent, or worse, they look right through you like you're a ghost? That was my childhood. I didn't want to be the strongest because I loved fighting. I wanted to be the strongest, so they would have to acknowledge I existed. I thought if I became the leader, the Hokage, they'd have no choice but to see me.
That's interesting. See, I grew up pretty isolated too, living in the woods, but I never really cared what people thought. I just wanted to test myself. But you're saying your power came from a place of loneliness? That sounds exhausting. Doesn't carrying all that emotional baggage weigh you down when you're trying to move fast?
It used to feel like drowning, but eventually that loneliness flipped. It turned into a connection. I realized I wasn't fighting for myself. I was fighting to protect the people who started to accept me. That's a different kind of power. When you're fighting just for the thrill, you have a limit, your body gives out. But when you're fighting because if you lose, your friends die, you find reserves you didn't know you had. You know that feeling, right? When you're completely spent, but you stand up anyway.
Oh, I know that feeling. I've been there plenty of times. But for me, it's usually because I know if I lose those, the whole planet blows up. So yeah, I get the protecting others thing. But I've always wondered about your method. I solve problems with my fists, or a massive energy wave. You talk to them. You fight these guys who have committed terrible crimes and you try to understand them. Why? Why not just defeat them and move on?
Because defeating them doesn't stop the cycle. If I just beat a guy up, he resents me. His friends resent me. The hate just shifts shape. I realized that most of the villains I fought were just broken people. They were me if I had made different choices. They were in pain, and if I could bridge that gap, if I could understand their pain, I didn't just win a fight, I saved a soul. I turned an enemy into an ally. That's harder than throwing a punch, believe me.
That is one. I mean, I've turned a few enemies into rivals. Some of my best friends tried to kill me when we met, but I didn't really try to fix their trauma. I just beat them until they calmed down, and then we grabbed food. You're playing a much more complex game, but doesn't that take a toll on you? Empathy is heavy. Taking on someone else's pain, doesn't that hurt more than a physical blow?
It hurts way more. Breaking a bone heals, but seeing the world through the eyes of someone who has lost everything, that stays with you. But that's the job. That's what it means to be a leader. You have to be the vessel for everyone's hope and everyone's pain. Speaking of which, you don't seem to have that leader vibe. You seem like a free spirit. Do you ever feel responsible for the chaos your fights cause?
Responsible? I mean, I try to move the fight to a wasteland so nobody gets hurt, but I'm not a leader. I'm not a king or a president. I'm a martial artist. I leave the politics to the people who are good at it. I feel like if I took a job like yours, sitting behind a desk, stamping papers, my spirit would die. How do you handle the boredom? You went from jumping through trees to sitting in an office.
It's a challenge. My biggest enemy these days isn't a resurrected god or an alien clan. It's the stack of paperwork on my desk, and my back hurts more from the chair than it ever did from a fight. But it's a different kind of battle. I look out the window and I see peace. I see kids running around who don't know what war is. That boredom is the trophy. That's what we fought for. If I'm bored, it means the world is safe.
That's a really profound way to look at it. Boredom is the trophy. I think I'd go crazy though. I need the push. I need to know there's someone out there stronger than me. It keeps me waking up in the morning. Do you think you've peaked? Or do you think there's still another level for you?
We always think we've peaked, don't we? Then life throws a curveball. I've lost some things recently. Sources of power I thought would be with me forever. I've had to relearn how to be strong without relying on the things that define me for years. It's humbling. But I think true strength isn't about having the biggest explosion. It's about wisdom. It's about passing the torch to the next generation. You have a son, right?
Yeah, two. One of them has more potential than I ever did, but he doesn't have the hunger for it. He'd rather study. And honestly, I'm starting to respect that. I used to push him to fight, but I'm realizing that his strength is different. It's like what you said. He's strong in a way that doesn't require violence. It's weird for me to wrap my head around, but I'm trying.
That's the hardest lesson for guys like us. We solve things with action. Our kids, they're solving things with intellect, with technology, with new ways of thinking. It's scary to let go, to realize we aren't the main characters anymore. We're the mentors, we're the safety net.
Whoa, not the main character. I don't know if I'm ready to admit that yet. I still want to fight the strongest guys in the multiverse. But I get your point. Let me ask you this. If we were to spar right now, no stakes, just pure technique, what's your strategy? Because I'm looking at you and I see a lot of openings, but I also feel like that's a trap.
Laughs, it's definitely a trap. I'm not a brawler like you. I'm a tactician. I'd probably use shadow clones. Make 1,000 of me to confuse you, analyze your movements, figure out your timing. You seem like you react on instinct. If I can disrupt your rhythm, I have a chance. But I've heard rumors about you. They say you move without thinking, that your body reacts on its own.
It's called Ultra Instinct. It's hard to explain. It's like clearing your mind of everything. Fear, ego, strategy, and just letting your body exist in the moment. It's pure speed. But your shadow clone thing sounds annoying. Dealing with one of you seems tough enough. 1,000 sounds like a headache. But that brings me back to something. You mentioned shadows. You have a dark side, right? A literal monster inside you?
I did. For a long time, it was a curse. It was hatred manifest. Everyone feared me because of it, but over time I realized that the monster was just as lonely as I was. We were cellmates. Eventually we became partners. It goes back to that empathy thing. I couldn't just suppress the darkness. I had to accept it, integrate it. Is it different for you? You seem suspiciously pure. Don't you have a dark side?
I actually hit my head when I was a baby. Forgot all my programming to be a conqueror, so I guess I got lucky. I don't really have inner demons. I just have an appetite. But I've seen what happens when people let their pride or their anger take over. I've watched princes and emperors fall because they couldn't let go of their ego. You letting go of your ego to befriend the monster inside, that's a level of discipline I respect.
It's not just discipline, it's stubbornness. I just refuse to give up on him. I refuse to give up on my friend who went rogue. I refuse to give up on the world. My catchphrase used to be, believe it, mas and I said it so much, it probably annoyed everyone. But I had to say it. I had to say it out loud so I would believe it myself. Do you have something like that? A mantra?
Not really. I usually just say, I'm hungry, or let's do this. But I guess my actions are my mantra. I never assume I can't win, even when the odds are zero. I just know I'll find a way. It's not arrogance. It's just, why fight if you don't think you can break the ceiling?
That's the difference between us. I think you fight to break the ceiling. I fight to make sure the roof doesn't collapse on everyone else. Both are necessary. The world needs the spear and it needs the shield.
The spear and the shield. I like that. We'd make a pretty good team.
We would. Though the collateral damage bill would be astronomical, my village is still recovering from the last war. I don't think we have the budget for a sparring match between us.
Laughs. Fair point. We'll keep it to arm wrestling then. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you one last thing. A philosophical question. What is the ultimate cost of peace? You fought so hard for it. You lost friends. You lost an arm. Is it worth it?
It is, every time. The cost is high. The cost is that you never really get to rest because you're always watching for the next threat. The cost is the ghosts you carry. But when I walk through the village and I see families eating ramen together, not worrying about an invasion, yeah, it's worth every scar.
Ramen, huh? You know, that's one thing we definitely agree on. Food tastes better after a hard fight.
The best. There's a place back home, Ichiraku, nothing beats it. It's not just food, it's comfort. It was the first place I felt accepted.
We are definitely going there after this. Listen, this has been incredible. You've given me a lot to think about. I usually just think about making my muscles bigger, but you've got me thinking about making my spirit bigger, about the responsibility of strength.
And you've reminded me that sometimes it's okay to enjoy the challenge, to not always carry the weight of the world, but to just enjoy the motion, the action, to be a little selfish with your passion. I think I needed to hear that.
We balance each other out. That's what it's all about. Well, folks, that's our time. We've covered everything from loneliness to leadership, from inner demons to the perfect bowl of noodles. It turns out being the strongest isn't just about power levels or chakra reserves. It's about why you stand up when you're knocked down.
Exactly. And to everyone listening, don't let your origins define you. You can be the outcast, the failure, and still end up being the one everyone rely on. Believe.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep training, keep eating, and keep breaking those limits. See ya.